尊敬的施瓦布主席，
Professor Schwab,
尊敬的各国政府的首脑，
Heads
尊
of
敬的
Government,
嘉宾、女士们、
distinguished delegates, ladies and
朋
gentlemen,
友们，
friends.
我首先要代表
First of all,
中国政府
on behalf of the
对
Chinese government,
第11届夏季
I would like
达
to
沃斯论坛的召开
congratulate
表示
on the opening
热烈的祝贺。
of the 11th annual meeting
就在
of
昨
the
天
new
晚上，
champions.
我和
Last night,
施瓦布先生
I
会面，
had a meeting with
大家共
Professor
同
Schwab,
回忆到10年前
and we record
达沃
that
斯
10
夏季
years
论坛
ago,
在大连出生。
the annual meeting of the new champions was actually born
那个时
in
候
the city of
如果
Dalian.
还是一个婴儿的话，现在
The Summer
已
Davos
经
was
成长。
an infant 10 years ago,
我们成长的过程，
and today
就
it
在
has
世
grown up,
界迅速变化的过程当中
and it has grown up
成长的。
in a
我和施瓦布
rapidly
先生
changing world.
及夫人，以及
Together with Professor Schwab and his wife and some of the
一起走
delegates
出
attending the Summer Davos this year,
眺望
we
远景，
walked
有一
out
座
of the meeting room
青山，
and
但青山
walked onto a viewing stand.
表面
We saw a mountain in the
遮
distance,
上了
but
一
the
层薄
mountain
雾。
was
我们
surrounded
在欣赏这幅图景
by a
的时
veil
候，
of mist.
就联想到了
When we appreciated
当今的
this
世界。
scenery, we cannot
这个
but
青
think
山
of the world today.
可能就是代表
The
着
mountain
世界的稳定性、
is a symbol of stability in the world
可持续性，
and the sustainability of
人类文明
mankind.
的不可间断性。
The mountain
但
represents
这薄雾
uninterrupted
也许
progress
代表着
of human civilization,
世界还
while
存在
the
着
mist
许多
that surrounds the
不确定
mountains may
不稳定的因素。
symbolizes some of the
我们
uncertainties
召
and
开这样的会议
destabilizing factors in the world
正是
we live in today. The meeting
在变化中
we are having
用
today is for the purpose of
稳定性，
responding
用
to those
适
changes
应人类文
and
明发展
uncertainties
前
with
景的
stability,
创造性，
and
来
also
应对
to respond
不确定
the
性。
uncertainties with the creativity that ensures
现在
continued progress
世
of
界
human
在全球
civilization.
化的大背景下继续推进，特别是
The world is
新一轮的
making
工业革命
continued progress against the
正在
backdrop
催
of
生着
globalization. The new
新的
round of
产业、新的技术，
industrial revolution
新的业
is
态
giving birth
人类
to new
可能
industries,
在任
business
何一
models,
次工业或技术革命当中，
and
没有像
technologies.
今天这样
Never
有更
before
多的机遇。
have we
但是
human beings
此
be
同时
presented with so many
我们也
opportunities
看
of
到
development.
逆全球化的身影
On the other hand, we
在抬头，
also see that
世界经济回暖的迹象有了，但
the
并不
global
稳定，
economic
经
recovery
济复苏的动力
is
仍然不足，
progressing,
尤其是接
but
触性的问
the
题、
foundation is not
更加
yet firmly established.
地缘政治的风险
Geopolitical
还有
risks
所
are on the rise,
上升。
and structural challenges
但是
still abound.
我认为，正像我们昨天看到那
But I
幅景一
believe,
样，
just
用
like
中国话讲，
the
我
view
们咬定
we
青山
appreciated
不放松，
last night,
就能够用
as long as we stand committed, we will be able to respond
战胜
and
不
prevail
确定性。当然，我们的稳定性
uncertainties with
是在创
stabilities.
新和变化当中持续的
And of course,
发展。
this
在今年年初的
stability will be
论坛上
strengthened through
习近
innovation
平主席发表
and
主旨演讲，
reform. At
深刻
the
阐述了
keynote speech
中国
delivered by
坚定
President
支持
Xi Jinping
经济
earlier this
全球
year
化
in
维
the
护
Winter
自由贸易的
Davos,
主张。
he elaborated on
论坛
China's commitment to economic
第四次工
globalization
业
and
革
free
命中
trade.
实
The
现
theme of
包
this
容性
year's
增长为
annual meeting of the new champions, achieving inclusive growth in the fourth industrial revolution, is
真
highly
纵观
relevant.
世界的历
A
史，
review
每
of
一次
world
工业革命
history shows that every time there was an industrial revolution, it always gave a strong push to social productivity and the progress of human civilization. This new latest round of industrial revolution happens in the context of economic globalization. It is changing our world with unprecedented speed, breadth, and depth, and it has provided limitless opportunities for all economies. However, if inadequate measures are taken, it may also create the problem of lack of inclusive growth. In other words, it will create the problem of fairness. For example, some people may have benefited more from other groups of people, and traditional industries and jobs may feel the impact. The gap between returns on capital and return on labor may also be widened. And if these problems can be addressed properly, it will create both social and economic values. The lack of inclusiveness in growth may result in idle workforces and the resources. And also imbalanced development among different groups and regions. And in that way, market potential cannot be fully leveraged, and economic growth will not be sustainable. To achieve inclusive growth can help increase social equity and make development more beneficial to all. And to achieve inclusive growth is for the purpose of achieving sustainable growth. Compared with previous industrial revolutions, the new industrial revolution presents greater opportunities for inclusive growth. The new industrial revolution, represented by network, digital, and intelligent technologies, has created new supplies and demands. It has expanded the space of development and also created more opportunities for equal participation of all parties. With the help of the internet, everyone can pursue innovation, start up their business, and create wealth. In the remote mountainous areas in China, farmers can sell their local specialty agricultural products to big cities in China in 1 or 2 days with the help of express delivery. And they can sell their agricultural produce at a price several times more than the local prices. This is just one example of the power of the internet. If we can provide this kind of opportunity to all of the people, to all those people that have the willingness to create, they will be given unprecedented opportunities to pursue their business. And the small and the medium-sized enterprises are now able to stand at the same starting point as big companies. They have also become the new champions of emerging industries. Developing countries can better leverage their comparative strength and the latecomers' advantage. And these are happening in the world. What we need to do is to enable more countries and companies to achieve a faster development in the new industrial revolution. In the world today, to promote inclusive growth, we need to firmly uphold economic globalization, because economic globalization has greatly facilitated the flow of goods, capital, and personnel. It has provided producers with a bigger market, presented consumers with more choices. During the past 30 years and more of China's opening up, the Chinese consumers have gained more choices of products from all over the world. Without opening up, without globalization, this would be unimaginable. And also, in the course of economic globalization, all countries can benefit, be it developing country or developed country, they can all benefit. But that being said, both developed countries and developing countries have encountered various kinds of problems. But these problems are not caused by economic globalization per se. Economic globalization is bringing benefits to all countries. But if countries are not able to fully harness the benefit of the economic globalization, they may also encounter some challenges. But just like when we sprain our ankle when walking on the road, we should not blame the uneven road and just stop walking. We need to better steer and adapt to economic globalization, promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and also at the same time reform and strengthen international trade rules to ensure equal rights, equal opportunities, and equal rules for all countries in international economic cooperation. Some people have raised the issue of fair trade, but as a matter of fact, free trade as the foundation of economic globalization is the precondition of fair trade. Restricting free trade will bring unequal trade, and the principle of fairness is the essential element of free trade. As for the problems or even disputes in trade relations, we should take into account each other's national conditions, conduct equal-footed consultation, accommodate each other's interests, and seek areas of convergent interests and balance. And this will enable us to find a win-win solution that leverages the complementarity of each other's comparative strength. In international economic relations, one should not impose unilateral rules on others. And this is the only, and only in this way can we ensure both free and fair trade. To promote inclusive growth, countries should rely on their own efforts. Countries need to take proper measures to address such challenges as unemployment, widening income gap, and poverty. And the determining factor is the own actions and choices of countries. It is important to promote growth that benefits all, provide equal opportunities for participation, strengthen future-oriented education to make workers better prepared for their jobs in the course of industrial revolution, and address the structural problems of employment. It is also important to support vulnerable groups so that all can benefit from development. And talking about sustainable development, we should not fail to mention climate change. Countering climate change is the common responsibility of the international community. China will honor its commitment and implement the measures to deal with climate change. Although China is still a developing country, and we need to make tremendous efforts in the fight against climate change, but this is an endeavor that is required by China's own development. Ladies and gentlemen, China has been committed to promoting inclusive growth. In recent years, despite the sluggish world economy, the Chinese economy has been able to maintain steady growth. An important reason is that our growth is getting more and more inclusive. We have been following the principles of innovative, coordinated, green, open, and shared development, followed the general trend of economic globalization and a new industrial revolution. We have adopted development strategies with inclusive features, put in place institutions and mechanisms that guarantee inclusiveness, and taken policy steps that promote inclusiveness. We have embarked on a path of inclusive growth with our own unique features. We have given priority to employment because employment is the foundation for achieving inclusive growth. Without relatively adequate employment, there will be no inclusive growth, and there will be no source of income and social wealth. China has a workforce of over 900 million, and every year about 13 million university and junior college graduates enter into the workforce. And also we have a large number of surplus rural labor force migrating to cities and townships. So we take employment as a key indicator for measuring the performance of the Chinese economy. And one of the key objectives of stabilizing growth is to secure employment. We have taken proactive employment policies and adopted a full range of measures to expand employment and create new jobs. And we also make sure that there's at least one member of each family that gets a secure job. In the past few years, more than 13 million new jobs were created in China's urban areas every year, and the urban unemployment rate has been kept at around 5%. Over the past 4 and 5 years, more than 50 million new jobs, new urban jobs have been created. According to the survey of some authoritative international economic organizations, which also have relationship with the World Economic Forum, led by Professor Schwab, China ranks first in terms of employment. Maybe that's also because China is the most populous country in the world. But indeed, we have made utmost efforts to promote employment. For a big country with 1.3 billion population, to ensure adequate employment itself is an important contribution to inclusive growth.
We need to open up new channels of employment and create new jobs. In this process, we need to encourage more and more people to get involved in entrepreneurship and innovation. Everyone can take part, fully tap his potential, and share in the benefits. This is the inherent requirement of inclusive growth and a defining feature of today's China. In recent years, China has fully implemented the innovation-driven development strategy, extensively carried out mass entrepreneurship and innovation, and fostered relevant enabling conditions. And we have achieved better than expected results. China's mass entrepreneurship and innovation is an extensive endeavor, not only including research institutes and companies, but also more and more ordinary people who have taken part in this process. As the Chinese saying goes, 80 mortals cross the sea, each showing his magical power. In 2014, I put forward the concept of mass entrepreneurship and innovation. Over the past several years, 40,000 new market entities have emerged every day, including 14,000 newly registered companies every day, which means that every year 3 million new market entities and companies have emerged. And in May this year, there were 18,000 newly registered companies in May this year. We have fostered an open and sharing platform for mass entrepreneurship and innovation. Various players have worked together, carry out sound online-offline interaction, have put the wisdom and strength, and made innovation and entrepreneurship less costly, faster, and more efficient. Recently, the World Intellectual Property Organization published the 2017 Global Innovation Index. China ranks 22nd place and 13 notches higher than 2013, number 1 among the middle-income economies. China's entrepreneurship and innovation has delivered benefits to almost everyone, enabling everyone to enjoy, to have jobs and fully tap their own potential. And in this process, everyone has enjoyed relevant benefits. For new industries, new business forms, and new business models such as e-commerce, mobile payment, and bike sharing, we have carried out inclusive and prudential regulatory methods to promote their sound development. This has not only created an unimaginable number of jobs, but also made people's lives more convenient. Lastly, among all the newly created jobs, the new drivers contributed around 70%. Mass entrepreneurship and innovation has given more people opportunities to change their lives and expanded the channels of social mobility. China's mass entrepreneurship and innovation has also given a strong boost to economic transformation and upgrading. It has promoted the rapid development of emerging industries and injected new vigor and vitality to traditional industries. Yesterday, I paid a visit to a company with an 80-year history in Dalian. They have promoted mass entrepreneurship and innovation. And in this process, over 85% of their products have become tailor-made products, and they can meet the changing market conditions. Every participant can fully tap his potential on this soft production assembly line. And this way has also changed and transformed the traditional drivers. China's mass entrepreneurship and innovation, with its wide participation, has developed rapidly, formed robust momentum, and grown stronger. It is an effective way of inclusive growth. We have also increased people's livelihood and meet people's basic needs. China remains the biggest developing country, and we have worked hard to meet the people's basic needs of food, clothing, housing, education, and healthcare. This is very important. We have already established the social safety networks for elderly care, healthcare, and compulsory education. These three basic social safety networks, they are not sophisticated enough, but they are wide-ranging and extensive. We have also worked hard to improve the production and living conditions of the poor people. We have pursued poverty reduction in rural areas and redevelopment of shantytowns in urban areas. Over the past 30 years, 700 million people have been lifted out of poverty. We are working hard on targeted poverty reduction, poverty elimination at the moment, and we plan to lift the remaining over 40 million rural poor population out of poverty by 2020. China used to have over 100 million people living in shantytowns in urban areas, and still, at the moment, over 50 million people are living in shantytowns. Over the past 8 years, we have renovated over 30 million housing units in the shantytowns and increased housing conditions for 80 million people, which equals to the population of a major country. In pursuing inclusive growth, we want to create better lives and more dignified lives for the people and promote more dynamic and sustainable economic and social development. I've stated these achievements. Meanwhile, we do not ignore our problems. China remains a developing country. This is something that we bear in mind every second. We have a lot of poor population, a lot of low-income people. To promote modernization in China and promote inclusive growth, we still have a long way to go. We need to continue to learn from other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you have a keen interest in China's economic performance this year. Since the beginning of this year, China has sustained a sound momentum of sound economic development. In Q1, our economy grew 6.9%. In particular, the performance and structure has increased significantly. Based on our data in Q2, we maintained the sound momentum of Q1. In the first 5 months, the traditional indicators such as power generation, power consumption, and new business orders have all increased significantly, and indicators of the new economy also increased even faster. And the profits of industrial companies above a designated scale increased by double digits. The foreign exchange reserve increased fast. and the RMB exchange rate has been basically stable. And employment situation has been quite encouraging. And in May, the surveyed unemployment rate in urban areas fell to 4.91%, the lowest in many years. Recently, several international organizations and research institutes raised their forecast for China's economic growth. They believe that the new drivers of China's development have built up. China has made steady progress towards economic rebalancing, and this has reflected the optimistic forecast of the market. China's economic performance is encouraging, and meanwhile, the internal structure has improved. This is more important. In recent years, faced with downward economic pressure, China has refrained from massive stimulus or followed the traditional development approach of relying too much on resources and export. Instead, in recent years, we have promoted reform and transformation. We have adjusted structure. As a result, we have relied less on export and investment, and now we are relying more on consumption, the service sector, and domestic demand. Last year, consumption contributed 64.6% to economic growth, becoming a primary driver of economic growth, and the service sector accounted for 51.6%. Current account balance to GDP ratio now fell to 1.8%. Domestic demand has now become a robust pillar of the economy. These major transformations have revealed the improvement of China's quality and structure, and also ensured greater stability and sustainability of China's economic growth. This can also present more opportunities for the rest of the world. China does not only buy a lot of consumer goods from other countries, import a lot of goods from other countries. We imported over $2 trillion of goods from other countries. And every year, 130 million Chinese tourists go abroad. At the moment, China is faced with a lot of difficulties and challenges. We are fully prepared for them. China is undergoing domestic economic transformation, and the external environment is complicated. Some indicators of economic performance will inevitably see some slight fluctuation in China, but the momentum of sound growth will not change. At the beginning of the year, at the press conference, I said that there will not be a hard landing for the Chinese economy. I have strong ground to argue this. In terms of the second half of this year, we are fully capable of fulfilling this year's main targets of economic development. We will stay committed to making progress while maintaining stability. We will focus on supply-side structural reform, promote economic transformation and upgrading, and increase internal drivers of development. We will fully deepen reform and unleash greater dynamism of economic development and social creativity. We will focus on delegating powers, streamlining administration, cutting taxes and fees, and reducing institutional transaction costs. We will promote fair competition, relax market access, provide more convenient services, and remove various barriers to investment and development of companies. We will carry out structural tax cuts, sort out various charges on businesses. On the basis of cutting 2 trillion yuan of taxes and fees in previous years, we will this year adopt policies to cut another 1 trillion yuan lower burden on companies. And in this way, the market entities will feel the impact of our policies, but we will also strengthen inspection in this process. China has promoted Belt and Road Initiative. This is based on extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits. This has created new opportunities for businesses around the world. In this process, we can work together to explore the third market and achieve win-win results. We will continue to advance structural adjustment and accelerate the replacement of old drivers with new ones. We will promote innovation-driven development and encourage large companies, SMEs, research institutes, and makers to carry out integrated innovation and foster emerging industrial clusters. We're happy to see that a lot of Chinese companies, the big companies or super companies in China
开辟了众多的
have
双创的空间、双创
created a
的
lot
平
of
台，
space
培
and
育了大
platforms
量
for
的
mass
创客，
entrepreneurship and innovation
甚至
and
在我
fostered a
们
lot
的
of makers.
最高端的航天
And
航空领
even
域，
in space
他
and
们
aviation,
通
the
过
most sophisticated
云
industry
平台
relevant companies have used the cloud
能
platform
够吸引
to attract
数百万的创
millions
客
of
参与
makers
这
to
个企业的创新
participate
发
in
展
the innovation and development of
我们
those
还要继续
companies.
用市
We
场
will
化、
continue
法
to
治化
apply
的办法
market-based
推
and
动
law-based
钢
methods
铁、
to
煤炭、
address
煤
overcapacity
电等行
in
业化
steel,
的
coal, and coal power
淘汰落后的
industries and
中
eliminate
国已经进
backward
入中等
productivity.
收入
China has become a middle-income
消费
country,
品
and consumption is
消
vital
费
in this
需求
process.
是最终需求，
Consumption
扩
is
大
the
消费
end
就
demand.
可以
By
拓
expanding
展市
consumption,
场巨大的潜力，
we can fully
也
tap
就
the
可以带
potential
动
of the
更
market
多的就业。
and create
我们
more
将
jobs.
适应消费升
We
级
will
的需
meet
求，
the new
不
need
断改
of
善消费
upgraded
环境，
consumption, continuing
培
to
育消
improve
费
consumption
热点
environment,
壮大
foster and strengthen
新
new
兴
areas
消
of
费，这不仅
consumption.
能改善人民
This
生
can
活，
not only
也
improve,
可以
improve
为
people's
经济
lives
的
and
包容性增长、
inject new
持续
vigor
发展
for
增添
sustained
动
and
力。
inclusive growth of
我们
the
将积极
economy.
主动
We
地
will take
扩
proactive
大
efforts
对
to
外开
expand
放，
opening
打
up
造
and
具有
foster
国际竞争
a
力的
business
营
environment
商环
with
境，
international
加快
competitiveness.
构
We
建
will
适应
accelerate
经济
efforts
全球
to
化
build an
和
open
新
economic
工业革命
system
的开
that
放
can
型
fit
经
the
济
needs of
兴起，
economic globalization and the
进
new
一步放
industrial
宽
revolution. We
服
will
务业、
further relax market
制造业
access for
市
the
场
service sector and the manufacturing
放
sector
宽
and
外商
relax
多年来投资
foreign
并且
investment
十分
aggregate
关注
quota
的
in some
一些
areas,
领域的
which
外
has
资
been of great
无底
interest
的限制，
to a lot of foreign companies.
推进
We will
完善
advance and
负面
improve
清单的
negative list
管理模式，
management
在
model
支持政策上
and
对内
treat
外资
domestic and foreign
一视
companies
同仁
as equals in terms
在
of
内外
support
资
policies.
到中国登记企业上，
And
我们
as
正
foreign
在一
companies
些地
get
方试点，
registered in
将
China,
全
we
面
are
推开
taking
一个窗口模式，
relevant
不管你是
pilot
内资
program
还是
to
外资，
promote
限时办
and
理
provide
一个窗口运行，
single
使
window
外资在中
services
国
for
办
the
企业
foreign
注册
companies. In this
更
way,
加便利。
the registration
我
process
们
will be
在推动
streamlined.
工业制造2025，
As we
也
promote
和
Made
一
in
些
China
科技创新政策，
2025 strategy as well
政
as
府
other
符合
innovation
WTO
strategies,
规则的一些
for
扶持政策，
support policies that are
对
consistent with
所有
WTO
在中
rules.
国注册的外
We
资
have
企业
carried out
一视
these
同仁，
rules
将给予同等
equally
的
for
扶
all
持
companies.
帮助。我们
For
也鼓
both
励外资
domestic and
把在华
and
利
foreign
润
companies, we have
留
treated
在
all
境
of
内
them equally.
投资，
We have also encouraged foreign
你们可以
invested companies to invest in China with the profits they make in China.
耳听六路，眼观八方，
You can
可
have
以
a
进
broad
进
vision
行多方面的比较。
and you can
但是，
draw comparisons
我相
between
信
different
长期在
countries.
中国投资的
But I
企业
think，for those companies which
你们会
have
感觉
made
到
long-term investment
在
in
这里
China
你
can
们已经
feel
融
that
入了，
you have get
这里的经济发展。
integrated into
而
China's
且
economic
有了很
development
强的
and
当地化的能力，
have strong
如果把
capacity of local production.
新增的利润
If
在
you
中
can
国进行
invest
再投资，
in China
一
with the
定会
profits
创
you
造
have
更
made
加
in
丰富的
China,
利润。
you
当然
will
我也想
enjoy
这里
even greater
向大家保
benefits.
证，
And let
所
me
有外资企
reassure
业
you
的利
here
润
that
只要在
for
中
the
国
profits
取得
made
到
by foreign
完
companies
全按照你
in
们的意
China,
愿，可以
you
自
can
由的进出，不会有任何限制。
you can make investment anywhere.
我
There
们也
will
支持跨国
there
公
will
司
be
在华
no
设立地区总
restrictions
部，引导
on the
外资
flow
投
of
向
your
中
profits.
国的中
We
细
will
企业，因为
also
那里的潜力
support
很大。
multinational companies
还有
in setting
东部
regional
的行业体系。
headquarters in China. There is
未来
strong
5年，
promise
中国将进
here
入8万亿
because there
美
are
金
some
的
old industrial bases in Northeast China
中国
and
经
in
济
Central
长
Western
期向
China
好，
with
日益
good
开放，给世界
potential.
各国
In the
会
next
带来
5 years,
更
China
多
will
的机
import
会。
$8 trillion of
将
goods.
继续
The
是
Chinese
最
economy
富有
will enjoy sound
吸引力
economic
的
development
投
for a long
资
time to come. We
欢
will
迎
present
各
a
国
lot
工
of
商店来华
opportunities for
事
countries
业
around
投
the
资
world.
和
We
中
will
国经
continue
济
to
共同
be
增
a
长。我
popular
们也是
destination of
在共同
investment.
推
We
进
welcome the
世界
investment
经济的
of all
包容性
countries
增长。
and will work together with them to
有一些
achieve common development.
方面会提出，中国可能还有一些风
Well,
险，
some people will say that
我们不否认。
China is still faced with some
但是
risks. risks. We do not deny these risks. We are clearly aware of these risks. But we believe that the lack of development is the biggest risk in China. We have advanced development in the financial sector, there are some
但是我
risks,
们有能力
but we have the ability
来守住不发生
to
系统
uphold
性
the
风险
bottom
的
line
底线。
of no systemic
一些
financial
领域的风
risks.
险，我们发现了会及
We
时
have
处理，
identified
而且目
the
前看
risks in some
风险
sectors.
是
We
总
have
体可
dealt
控。
with them promptly,
我们正在采取
promptly,
有效
and
措
the
施，
risks
把
are
这些风险
generally under
逐步地
control.
化
We're taking effective measures to
对中国来
address
说，
these
我们会
risks
统
in
筹
a
监
timely
督，
manner.
在推
China
进
will
经济发
take
展中
coordinated
化解各
measures
种风险。
to address various
中国
risks
政
in the
府
course
覆
of
盖率
economic
在世界
development.
主要的
China's
经济体中
the debt
相
ratio
对
of the
较
Chinese
低。
government is relatively
国民
low
储蓄
compared
率
with other
商业
economies.
银行的资本
And
充足率
China has
国备
relatively
的负
high
债率
savings rate,
相对较
capital adequacy
我们
ratio,
有
a
足够的
commercial
能力
banks, and provision
防范
coverage ratio. We have
各类风
sufficient
险，
ability
确保
to
经济运行
prevent
在
various
合理
risks
区间，
and ensure
并
that the
保
economy
持
will
经济
perform within the
中
reasonable
高速
range
增长，
and
迈向
ensure
中
medium
高端水
high-speed
平。
growth of
我
the
希望
economy and move to the
外
medium
资
high level. I
能
hope
看好
that
中国，
foreign investment
我们
will
国内
be bullish about the
国
Chinese
外
market.
各类企业
For both
都
domestic
对
and
中国
foreign companies,
有
I hope that
良好的
all of you
明确的
will
预期。
have
我们在这
a
里
good
不是
expectation on
做
China.
宣传，
Here, we are not doing a
用事实
promotion,
在
but
说话，
we are
是
making argument on solid
向
facts.
大家展示
We
完全可
want
以实
to
现的前景。
show you the prospect that are totally within our reach. The Chinese people often say, ladies and gentlemen, that the sea is vast as it admits all rivers. A more inclusive world will be a more splendid place. We're ready to work with other countries to stay committed to economic globalization and the new industrial revolution. And in this process, we want to pursue inclusive growth and build a community of shared future for mankind and create an even better future for the entire mankind. Thank you.